You're always going to sound your truest and your best when you sound like yourself and not somebody else. People are going to gravitate towards you, not you pretending to be something else.
Welcome, everybody, to Nashville Drummers Podcast, episode 59.
Today's guest is Kyle Law, Nashville-based live and session drummer, who's currently on tour with hard rock country artist Tim Montana.
Kyle is a dude that I've wanted to have on the show for a while. He's a buddy. He's a good dude, a great player, and he's just a really funny guy. I knew he would be really entertaining to be on the show, and I was right. And we got weird. We got pretty out there. He and I both took our shirts off at one point. It was a time. It was a thing.
NDP After Hours is how we branded it.
For sure.
It was a late night conversation.
Yeah.
There was definitely
it needed to happen.
There was some good sexual tension between you two that eventually rubbed off on me.
Yeah, it's true.
And I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
No, he's a very handsome.
Loving. I know he's loving hearing this intro right now.
He's loving it.
Yeah.
What I love about doing these interviews is we can have so much fun with our guests and literally just kick it, but yet we still cover some really important topics. I really enjoyed going into the nitty-gritty with Kyle. We covered Broadway gigs versus artist gigs and how he prepares differently for both of those situations. We talked about work-life balance, how to choose subs wisely. We go into his Tool tribute band days and how to learn complex drum parts, and the idea of microscoping, which I thought was pretty interesting. A lot of good value, lots of good laughs as well on this one.
We hope you enjoy this episode of Nashville Drummers Podcast. Before we get started, we wanted to take a second and mention our friend Joe Dorn, who recently passed away. He was and is a Nashville legend, and he is going to be dearly missed. I will miss him every single time I go into Forks.
Are you the kind of guy that... How did you heat it up? Are you the kind of guy who microwaves it with this on it and everything, or do you put it in another container, heat it up, and then put it back?
No, dude. We got to put it in a ceramic coffee cup, then put it in the microwave, then take it out, then pour it into this.
Good man. I'm proud of you.
I was like, no, I can't do that. It just, first of all, the thought of like melting plastic wakes me out, but I can also taste the difference too.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you taste the difference like when meat has been microwaved? Gets that?
Cancer.
It's dry. Yeah. Like, this is not good.
It's great.
So, welcome to the Nashville Anti-Microwaving Podcast with your hosts, Don and Derry.
Hello, Don. Hello, Derry.
It's good to have you with us here, Robert.
It's good to be here, Carl.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's going to be great.
This is going to this episode, I feel like, is just going to be sheer.
Can you walk in here and I said, kind of remind me of Wayne's World, and now like it feels like that too.
Absolutely.
In a good way.
Party on, Garth.
Exactly.
You know what I mean, dude?
So we've been wanting to do this for a while.
Sexual relations or the podcast?
I've always wanted to try that. Is it good?
Okay, fine. Okay, that's good. I hope so.
Listen, I'm married. I don't have time for any of that shit. No, we've been wanting to have you on for a while. I've been wanting to have you on for a while just because I know you. That I'm like, oh, he's great, and I really want to have you on. You're an entertaining human being.
Dude, you too, man. I've heard good things. I've been wanting to do it. It's just scheduling has been kind of weird.
Dude, yeah, that's how it goes.
It's good, pop, man. Yeah. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's not so good. Yeah.
So you guys just came from the streets of Broadway.
We did. We start there.
How was your shift tonight,
Nathan?
Mine was great. I had a really fun time. It was a good vibe. Made some decent cash and got out of there. I was over at Nudies.
Oh, Nudies? Okay. That was the Lucky Bastards. That was fine.
Nice.
How is it over there generally? I haven't played there yet.
It's cool. There's a lot of like caveats for the 2 to 6. Like there's songs that you can't play. Like we did Break Stop, and like our bass player who works there all the time was like, yeah, I don't know, we should do that. Like you just censor a lot of words. I know that's the case for a lot of gigs before 10 o'clock, but like especially there.
Yeah.
So the crowd's okay. It's hit or miss. Well, money's good. Yeah, playing. They treat us pretty well. Sounds okay.
Yeah. Could be worse. Could be right.
Like Club, which we shall not speak of.
Yeah. Could be.
Say
What I wonder what club we could be talking about.
Yeah, I have no idea.
No idea, and I have no opinion about it at all.
Nobody's ever. That should be boards on here. Absolutely not, dude.
Yeah, we're speaking, of course, of John Bon Jovi's. No, yeah, I'm curious to play there just because I never have. For as long as I've been playing down there, which is not that long by a lot of people's standards, I've been there 3.5 years, something like that. But I just haven't played all this. Have you played everywhere?
Everywhere except for the brand new clubs.
What's brand new for you?
Like John Bon Jovi's, Wallen's,
Friends.
and then the new Laney Club.
Yeah.
What are the other ones? I know there's one I'm missing. Oh, I haven't played Chiefs.
Friends of low places.
Yeah, I haven't played Friends and I haven't played Chiefs. But I've played all like the old school shit.
Have you played Roberts?
Yeah, it's been forever though.
Wow. That's a goal for me, man. I've never played Roberts. I would love to play.
But it's really, really cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely like a bucket list item. And it sounds, to me, one of the better sounding rooms down there.
I could not agree more.
Yeah.
And the vibe there. So for anybody listening to this and who doesn't know what Robert's Western World is,
Iconic.
it's iconic and it's awesome. If you want to go hear old Western music, it's the shit.
There's also never a bad band in there.
Never.
Like, and there are definitely spots somewhere with bad, like decisively bad bands. As we all know, I'm not going to name names obviously, but Roberts, I've never like walked by there or been in there and been like, this sounds like shit. It's always just like I'm immediately attached to whatever's going on stage.
You don't get on the stage at Roberts if you're not a G. Period.
No, and they've had like killers come out of there. Like for a while, like all the guitar like virtuosos were coming out of Roberts. That's true. A house gig there for a while.
Yeah, Daniel Donato got out there, and now Luke McCreary's doing his thing. They're killing it. They have a shift down there a couple times a week. That's worth going and checking because they just rip. It's awesome.
Johnny Highland used to play on there a lot too.
That
Back in the day.
makes so much sense.
Back in the day, yeah.
Dang, dude. Okay.
Yeah.
So, how's life been generally, man? All things good.
It's pretty good, man. I just got off the road. Was out for a month straight. So
With Tim?
yes, with young Tim Montana. And we were out with Seether and Skillet.
Oh, okay.
And month is a long time.
Yeah.
Long time. But
Wow.
a lot of wieners flopping around.
True.
A lot of,
Standard tour fare.
a lot of sexual aggression in the van.
Yeah.
You're away from your significant others for long periods of time. But we like it, dude. It's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I got home and I immediately started missing it.
Yeah.
You know, so.
How long have you been playing for Tim?
I played 4 years. Yeah. Give or take.
I'm not super hip to him. Can you describe?
He's not such a hard hip guy. Hard rock. He's cool.
So,
Now it's just like full on rock, but he used to do like the country rock thing.
Yeah.
So he transitioned. I'm not talking about sexuality, but with his music, he transitioned about a year ago.
Yeah.
everything tonight is so far coming down to sexuality.
See, I just walked in and I saw Nathan. I just couldn't tell much.
I know. How do you think I feel?
It's such a good.
Yeah. Speaking of raw sexual aggression.
Yeah, so it's been about a year since he switched over to rock, and that's sort of like it's kind of so. Sorry, so I kind of have his stuff. Yeah, what you don't know is that I'm not wearing pants currently. But then he switched over to rock and had a lot of success in there. So we've been doing like a lot of the cool rock tours, which I'm very excited about, and it's a lot more fun to play. People seem to be cooler all around too. Yeah, a lot more welcoming.
You mean even in that scene?
Yes, as opposed to the country scene. From my personal experience, I can't speak for everybody, but for me,
I want to hear about that. What was your experience with that? I mean, without, I guess, necessarily naming any names, but
it's just when you're in the country world, you're dealing with a lot of hired guns, so you lose that like sense of familiarity that you have with like a band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and also just like the hospitality that we were shown, as opposed to how it was in country, is completely different. Like, you go in immediately within the first week, you know everybody by a first name basis, as opposed to country where you could do a whole tour and still not know everybody's names. Yeah, at least that has been the case in my experience, And I think that just comes with the territory of like working for a singular person versus like having 4 individuals or 5 individuals all working together, as opposed to like, hey, this is just a paycheck,
right?
Get on this plane now.
It seems to me that like country is kind of it's like a giant machine.
Yeah, 100%.
And I mean, not to say that that doesn't exist in the rock world. It absolutely does. But it's there are more like bands.
Yeah, for sure. Way more bands. Yeah. And then also just, I mean, it's kind of starting to move a little bit away from it, but like just the era of formula music that came from country, like you get formula artists and you get a formula, management telling them what to do. And so like you have this attitude of, I don't use this word superiority, but superiority that comes from some of those artists. And you never get to connect with them on the personal level, as opposed to like rock and roll, where it's just like a bunch of sweaty dudes that have been traveling in a tin can for however long.
Not too precious about anything.
No, dude. No, it's cool. I like it. Plus, like I said, it's more rewarding for me playing wise too. Not that there's not an art to like, locking in the pocket and playing full on the floor, because I love that too. Like, and there is a nuance to that, but yeah, with rock, I get to chop a little bit more.
Yeah, I've watched clips of the show. It looks like you get to kind of go in at some moments and do some pretty wild shit, which is cool.
Yeah. Well, that's also just, Tim's like the coolest dude ever to work for. He's very like lenient, and he wants us to be our own person, which is cool because not a lot of people are like that. But, I remember the first show that I did with him where I just like stripped down to nothing but my boxers. He was sold immediately. I was like real nervous about it. I was like, I don't know if he's going to like this, man. I did it. Yeah, he was just doing one of his speeches in between songs. I just
stripped down.
He loved it. He fucking thought it was awesome. The crowd loved it too. I would have gotten fired immediately if I did that in the country music scene. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yes, I'm also sure that's true. Honestly, so I'm trying to picture this accurately. So
he's giving one there.
dude, I'm like the picture details.
It's not much to picture. It's you have to look pretty hard.
Zoom in.
Listen, I got glasses. I'll be fine.
Is that a bug on your ray?
Was he facing, like, did he turn around and realize you were fully stripped down to your boxers? I'm not like,
Yes, that's literally what happened.
well, and what was his response?
Just laughter and just loving it, and then he announced it on the microphone. Dude, he's awesome. I love working with him. I can't speak enough good things about him. So, he dug it. I've been talking to him about it, just in jest, that whole tour. And
So you would prime the pump.
that's a odd phrasing to use, but yes, I primed his pump, so to speak.
Yeah.
I kind of mentioned it to him in jest. It's like, oh, you won't. No, I just did it one day. Like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it.
The fuck I won't. I will do it.
Yeah, that was also a lot more portly at that time, which makes it always funnier. Like, it's always funnier if you're more out of shape and you take your clothes off.
Oh yeah.
So it got a lot of laughs. It was good.
Otherwise, damn, yeah, he works out.
And nobody wants to see a fucking good-looking dude. And
we all feel worse about ourselves.
Yeah, which, by the way, you look great.
I look great.
I can tell that you've lost some weight.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, looks good, dude.
I quit drinking, so
That will do it.
yeah, I lost about 30 pounds when I quit drinking. Yeah. It's funny how that works.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
It's a better part of life.
I think so. Everything good kind of started happening to me when I stopped drinking. Yeah. And I don't know if that's a direct correlation or just a coincidence, but
I mean, we literally just had this conversation with Christian, and I'm saying this openly because he shared with us on his episode. Christian Del Zappo. I don't know if you know him.
I do not. It's got a nice last name, though.
Del Zappo.
I know, it's a really fun last name to say.
Yeah, that is cool.
Sometimes I say it to myself while I'm driving, just quietly.
I imagine that's how they say how Zappa does his tours in Mexico. That was Zappa.
He does Zappa.
That was a
Yeah, he basically went through his whole sobriety journey. He was saying how, it was all his mind, his brain, his determination, all those things just kind of came together.
It just sharpens everything, especially for a dude, if you've been drinking most of your life, which I have, and you stop doing that, it's just like all the shit that you let distract you, just kind of you just go like this, you get tunnel vision towards your goals.
Yeah.
I mean, alcoholism aside, I just think like there's a clarity that you get from being sober. I'm not going to make this podcast an AA meeting, but
Hey, man, it can go anywhere you want it to go.
yeah, it's yours. A lot of positive shit starting to happen when I got sober. Yeah, so I'm happy about it. You know, that's great.
How do you get the perfect Nashville kick drum tone? It starts with a lowboy leather daddy bass drum beater. This leather-faced beater occupies the sonic space between felt and wood beaters. It's punchy enough to cut through the mix on those 4-on-the-floor barn burners with the warmth you need for slow ballads. Okay, but who plays a leather daddy? Garrett Goodwin from Carrie Underwood's band uses one. Lee Bryce drummer Donnie Marple plays a pair. Walk down Broadway any night of the week and you're going to hear one. In Nashville, you can test drive a lowboy beater at Drumbox and grab one at Forks, Drum Supply, or Nelson's. Check out lowboybeaters.com to learn more.
How have you been, dude? Dude, I've been good. There's been turmoil. Had a death in the family that was rough.
Oh man,
one of Michelle's cousins. We just went out to Georgia and saw the family, and ultimately it was a really good time. It was really good connecting with them.
sure.
It's so good to be around them. I just love them.
Mm-hmm.
That was really positive. It was at the same time a really painful experience, you know. And I didn't, to be honest, I didn't really know him. I might have met him once for like a minute.
Are you from Georgia?
No, I'm from California.
Oh, okay,
But she has a bunch of family in Georgia.
gotcha.
And Minnesota. And anyway, they're all over. But it was great reconnecting and seeing them mourn him. That was like my heart was aching for them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
for sure.
That was rough, but it was ultimately, like I said, a very beautiful experience.
Sure.
And I like Georgia.
That's cool. Not to go out on the death train, but R.I.P. to Jay Dorn, man.
Yeah, no. Thank you for saying that. I mean, we haven't had a recording since his passing. And thanks again, everyone that came out to the drummer hang at Saudi. We did a little special tribute to him, which is nice. But yeah, I never got to meet him, which seems wild.
He's such a cool dude, man, and just like so on top of like one of the most knowledgeable people about drums that I've ever met, and just like a total sweetheart. Yeah, that sucks.
Utterly unassuming. You would not know. And then it just...
I'm like a drummer's drummer.
Oh, he knows all the things. And just like his knowledge is so deep for drums.
And just the freaking... Like, I cannot stress this enough. The sweetest guy. Yeah. Just the sweetest dude. So, yeah, now I got that news on the way home from that trip, and I'm like, oh my God, dude, what is going on?
Yeah,
How is this happening?
seems like it's going around, dude. I mean,
I know.
it's I feel like it's been everywhere. Like a couple buddies in my band had deaths they were dealing with as well, like within this month. It's just like something's in the air, bro. I don't know.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm sorry I'm not speaking to you more. I just don't value.
There you go. Oh, well,
This is a great time for you to get to know Dan. Dan's a great guy.
He seems like her, dude. Seems like
fucking interesting shade of this part of my face.
nice.
That's why the camera's pointed this way.
Why don't you tell him and these nice people what you did?
Dude, give me the juice, dude. I want to hear it.
Not that deep. No, I bought a new trimmer. Yeah, favorite razor, we call it.
Yeah.
Pretty excited about it. I've been using like a broken one, Triady. Like it's time. Like I'm 31. It's time I grow up and buy a real device.
Real razor.
And anyway, so I just I had it on the lowest setting, thinking, oh, it's gonna cut the least. But no, it just meant it was gonna have the least amount of hair left after I use it. It was like koi claw, so I did like one, and it's a pretty like powerful thing. So I did one pass through right here. I was like, oh, like I knew, just like oh shit, man.
Yeah.
But there's no Control Z to that, so I had to kind of figure it out, a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
I'll just wait for it to grow back.
Bro, it's really funny you say that because this is the first time I've been clean shaven in like years. Yeah. And I had a very similar thing happen.
I look a lot younger. Yeah, even like people who've seen me recently, like this is different.
Well, you look good, dude.
Thanks.
Real good.
This is not a good side.
Yeah.
You styling.
I don't have a good side. What's that like? Dude, I had literally the same thing happen though. This is like the first time I've been clean shaven in years, and I went to go give myself a trim the other day. And I usually have a guard on my electric razor.
Yeah.
and I just fucking haphazardly just put it in my face, and then I realized what I had done. Yeah, I'm just like, well, fuck, I can't, you know.
Basically what I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't have one side of my face. So I just went ahead and did the whole thing. Yeah, because I have this like chunk of fat right here underneath my chin, and then see if we go like that. It's very obvious. So I usually keep a beard. Okay.
Yeah.
I believe they call that cellulite, but
They might.
it's the thing I have. So I usually keep a beard. But yeah, dude, I've had people tell me I look much younger. I know you don't know me, but prior to this, I looked 45.
You came in, I thought you were 22, so man.
Aw.
Well, I'm only ever usually seeing you
I'm just kidding.
at like 2 a.m.
It's true. True.
They'll be like, "How was your gig?"
I'm just
That was fine. Yeah, mine too.
yeah.
Well, see you later.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't really hung out, not much, dude.
Yeah, I know. We should change that.
We should change that, dude.
We're hanging out now.
Right.
We are hanging out now.
I have historically been, and I really want to ask you about this. Speaking of hanging out, I've historically been such a bad. I'm bad at making the hangout happen because I'm going a million places all at once, and I feel like I'm just like always, almost like just stressed. I have too many things. But I'm really making like a very concerted effort to have times with friends just to go grab a bite to eat or something. Okay. I don't have to be doing something all the time. I know I've got like this big list of shit that I got to get done and I'm way behind on it, like way behind on it. So much that it's like giving me nightmares. But I still have to be a person.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
I sympathize with that a lot, dude. I get legitimate like feelings of discomfort when I'm not constantly doing stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's some sort of like childhood thing or if it's just like DNA, but yeah, I hate it. I hate sitting still and not having anything to do. I don't know what to do with myself. So I do like hanging out with friends, but it has to be on my schedule. Yeah. Like I have to like, you know, I found like as I've gotten older, like writing everything down helps a lot. So like if I want something accomplished and there's people that I need to see, like I'll put it in my to-do list, like reach out to this guy on this at this time, and then make that happen, you know. But then I mean I'll go do that and then be like, why the fuck did I not practice for 2 hours a day? You know, like I'll have this weird guilt for not spending enough time behind the drum set, even though I'm working 40 hours a week on Broadway or wherever the fuck. You know, it's like I don't know how to get rid of that. I've had as long as I can remember.
I feel like a lot of that is just the culture that we're in.
Yeah.
You know, like we are bombarded by necessities. Like, well, you need to do this, and this needs to happen. And if you do some sort of creative work for a living, it's going to be extra because there's so much that isn't promised. Like that you don't know, especially like to play them downtown. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to make today. I have no idea. 12 people could show up and none of them could not want a tip at all. That could happen. It's not likely, but it could happen. Sure. And then what do I do? Like, okay, so then I need to make sure that I'm doing all the stuff that I do know I can do, and I can make sure that I'm really up to date on all this stuff and really well practiced, and I'm like, blah blah blah. The list goes on. There's a million things I have to take care of in a day. I'm like, but I need to also be a human being, person, friend.
Yeah.
You know, husband, son, cousin, all the above. And that's
Podcaster, farmer.
yeah. Like, dude,
You have a lot of roles.
Ham-bone uncle, daddies,
yeah.
or whatever.
Uncle Daddy, baby.
You know, we had those in Georgia.
Yeah.
Uncle daddies.
Are you from Georgia?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm Bruce. That's what I was asking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're from States, bro.
You're so humble. You're like, oh man, you're from Georgia. Oh. What am I going to tell you? States.
You know our boy Eric Pritchard?
No.
No, Georgia boy. Scott, he's a huge Georgia Bulldogs fan.
Well, yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure. Shout out Eric. And Crack.
Well, if you've ever been to a Cracker Barrel, yes.
Oh, interesting.
He's there right now, actually. Statistically, he is there right now.
It's like 4:39 in the morning. He's at the he's there, amazing gravy. I don't want to get sidetracked from what you're saying though, because I think like there's some shit there.
Yeah, I have some thoughts.
I had that same issue, especially as a touring drummer, because I get like mega like freaked out about spending too much time on the road and losing my work at home.
Yeah.
Like, and I have lost work at home. Like, because when I first moved here, I used to tour like 3 months out of the year in Europe. I did that every year, but I remember one time I came back in the wintertime and I literally lost everything that I had. Because people are just not going to hire you if you're not around, you know?
So now they'll have to fill the void. So
Yes, they have to, literally.
Because they're all replaceable.
Yes. Doesn't matter how good you are, you're replaceable if you're not available.
That's good. That's a great line. Yeah.
It's just how it is. And I've had to learn that the hard way. But now, because of that happening and like almost not being able to pay rent and having to move back home, like I just wig the fuck out whenever I'm on the road for like a month at a time and I'm coming home. I'm like, oh shit, I hope I don't lose my gigs. Well, I guess that what this means is now I have to show up for every gig and never cancel until the next tour rolls around, because I have to make up double time for all the other shit that I missed. So now I don't have time to be human. I need to hustle downtown and work, 10 gigs a week or whatever it is, so that I don't lose it. Because I'm about to go back on the road for a month or whatever. Like, I'm getting guilty. I'm feeling guilty about trying to go home for Thanksgiving, because I'm just like, well, I was just out for a month on the road. I can't afford to, not be around.
That is the reality a lot of us face.
that right there, that's my, of all the things that I could complain about or have a problem with as far as the Broadway thing, it's that. Because I have felt guilty. Like, I want to go home for Thanksgiving, though. I mean, like, I should not feel guilty to go see my family for a holiday. That should be.
Yeah, for sure.
I should definitely communicate it way ahead of time.
Yeah.
But I certainly shouldn't be like, oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to go home and see my family because I love them. I'm sorry that I love them so much.
Yeah.
Like, the hell? But that was in my heart.
It's weird, man.
Oh my God, I'm afraid to go do that because I don't want to make them be annoyed with me being gone.
Yeah.
Finding the right stuff, like, that's a whole thing.
Yeah.
And what is giving notice way ahead for you? What does that look like? Like, how many? Is there a specific number for that, or is it just like a case by case situation?
I feel like, man, that's a great question. I feel like for a holiday like Thanksgiving or Christmas, you should minimum 2 months notice, because a lot of people are going to be gone. So you may have to start. I don't know. For me, that's me. I just because I want to be like, well, I'm going to be gone, and so are a lot of people.
Yeah, for a major holiday like that.
Yeah. So, like,
Is that for Broadway, or is that just all encompassing?
I think that's for Broadway in general. I haven't been in a position to have to deal with it with anything else. So I'm like, all of my other touring things were just been like, I pick a tour. I'm like, I'm doing this tour with this person, and then that's that. I'm like, well, I don't have to worry about subbing anything else, because that's just a one-off.
Gotcha. It's interesting you say that. I feel like maybe that would be the case for me, but most of the people that I'm dealing with down there don't know their schedule on a bi-monthly basis. Like, and there's some circuits which you literally find your schedule out that week.
True.
So to give 2 months notice for a gig that may or may not be happening is kind of like, you know what I mean? My thing is, if I'm going to sub it out, I got to make sure that there's an adequate sub lined up. If there is an adequate sub that I know that the band likes, or whoever is doing the employing likes, I'll try to do a month. If I can't, I'll do 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then it's done. But I always make sure that there is a sub available unless they tell me otherwise. If they're like, hey, I'm just going to take care of the subs, always, I'd be like, okay, cool, you do that. But if I have to call out of a date and I know the date, I'm going to make sure that there's a guy that they trust, that I know who's going to do a good job.
Right.
Because my ass is covered in that scenario, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
But again, like, the timeline for that, I feel like it's just case by case. I would never do that for my road gig, because there's rehearsals and shit involved, and it's just a different bag, I feel like, you know. Not to say that one is, you know, more stressed or above the other. It's just different, you know. Like, one you have to show up to rehearsals for and everything's under a microscope more. One is like Broadway, where it's like, if you don't know Broadway, you can't get a guy who doesn't do Broadway to go do Broadway.
Yeah.
Yeah, which happens.
It doesn't work. I've seen it where it's just like some gnarly drummers go try to play a Broadway set and have no fucking clue because they've never played the standards before.
Yep.
You know? So again, it's just different things altogether.
That was me. My first 8 Broadway gigs.
You are a gnarly drummer, so yes, you would.
It was such a.
You got your ego on the back real quick.
Oh my God! So quickly, like, oh wow, I really have so much I have to learn.
That was literally me. I've started, you know, early on, those first few years, where it's like, yeah, I'm a good drummer. I know I'm a good drummer. But I just didn't know the songs.
Yeah.
And at that point, like, it doesn't really matter. Like, I could fake it, but probably not going to get called back.
Dude, yeah.
So that leads me, I was going to ask you, what qualities do you look for in your subs? And then are you fearful ever for both Broadway or in more of the road stuff, if you've had to sub those out? Are you fearful of the subs overtaking the gig itself? Has that ever happened?
I am fearful. 100%. You have to be. Oh, yeah. That's part of, like, in terms of the qualifications, I think there's two sets. You know, like, I have a different set of qualifications for the road gig than I do Broadway. But for Broadway, I'm mainly making sure that the artist that I'm subbing out for is happy. And I'm making sure that they know the person that I'm putting in. Make sure the person that I am putting in knows the tunes, right? And has a big book they can pull from. And honestly, a lot of times that's like even higher priority than being a good musician in my eyes for Broadway. I'm like, I'm probably going to go with the guy who sings a little bit, because I am a singing drummer. So a lot of times when I get a gig, it's because I do sing.
Yeah.
So when I hire somebody in to sub for me on a Broadway gig, I want to make sure that they can cover some songs by themselves. And then I also want to make sure that they know the book and can pull it at a bunch of different songs. I just want them to be capable in terms of their ability to play the drums. You know, like, that's it. Because it's most of it's part playing anyways, and like most of these people I'm working for, they're just trying to get $20 out of the crowd. You know, like, they don't care if you can chop like Ron Bridge or Step Drags. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? That's just the reality. Like, and the road gig is different. Like, I want somebody who's got road experience, is a cool hang, can be in a fucking tin can with dudes for hours on end, and also who's willing to, like, you know, microscope things. That's the big difference for me, I think. It's just like the artist thing is like you're microscoping songs, and you might only have like 6 or 7, but the Broadway thing is the opposite, which is like,
good point.
you just need to know 70%.
It's actually quantity over quality, right?
Yes.
But the artist gig, it's
Do you know the bare bones to the song? Cool. Here's $20.
Yeah.
You know,
200 songs.
right. Yeah.
Somebody said, okay, this artist only, like, you're going to only play 5 songs for maybe an opening set, but you got to know these songs
Yeah.
to every freaking,
For sure.
every note. No.
Now, I, like, don't have those same qualifications for myself. Like, I try to, you know, but I'm also neurotic. Like, I want to, if there's a song I'm going to learn, I'm trying to learn it, like, really learn it, you know, most of the time. And I do have a different process for, like, road stuff versus Broadway stuff and how I learn songs. But,
No.
like, Broadway shit, somebody asked me to learn a cover. I'm probably going to make a chart, form chart, write down the hits, BPM, feel. That's probably it. Honestly, like, if the kick pattern is, like, super involved, I might notate it out. But most of the time, I'm like, I'm just going to put a reference for the kick pattern.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Outside of that, like, I mean, I just don't have time in the day to learn a song that might not even get called. That's the thing. It's like, okay, cool. We don't want to do this song on the chances that it might get requested.
There's a balance for how much time you...
Yeah, exactly. There's only so much time in the day. So it's like, I'm going to learn this enough to play it and play it well. And then after, if it starts getting called regularly, then I might go back and microscope, like, the fine details of the song, like the, you know, the intricacies of a kick pattern, or like, there's a really cool fill here, you know, like, for instance, like, you know, the Jack and Diane fill.
Yep.
It's a very iconic fill. But most drummers aren't going to play that note for note downtown, you know? Like, we're not, I remember when I first met Charp with that song, I just wrote, what's a 3-bar fill? This is the general idea that I need to accomplish.
Snort Collins.
Right, but then the other part of that is like, you go play that downtown, most people are not even going to notice 3 bars, and they're going to be sitting around waiting on the 4th bar, like, what the fuck? Oh, is he going to keep going?
Yeah.
You know? So it's like,
Yeah.
it's this weird thing where it's like, do I try to fine tune this when nobody's going to do that with me?
Yeah.
And then there's the whole thing of just people playing it, you know, the Broadway way, the right way, and the wrong way. Okay, that's a whole conversation. So that was very ranty.
Yeah, no, that was great. I like when you use the word microscoping. So kind of give us the other side of that. So the microscoping for the artist gig, how is that process totally different?
For the artist gig, it's about learning the kick patterns like the record. You know, if you're running tracks like, okay, what do I need to do for playback? How am I getting these patches on my SPDSX? You know, like, is there a sub drop here? How am I getting that on there? Is it in the tracks? Can I just run it like that? What does the artist want from me? Do I need to learn these harmonies exactly like the record? That's a big thing. Like, as a drummer who sings, like, when I'm downtown, I'm using my ears more for singing harmonies as opposed to when I'm on the road. Like, there might be a very nuanced record part.
Right.
Especially if the backing track is in Ableton already with that on. If I'm just singing whatever the fuck, like, it's not gonna sound right. Yeah. So I have to do the homework, you know. It's more. Plus, like, there's no reason not to, dude. Especially on these opening sets, which is mostly what we're doing. It's like, you're talking about 30, 45 minutes. Like, the least you can do is go fucking learn the record part.
Yeah.
And then if you want to add after that, like, cool. Make sure you have an idea of what the record part is. That is not to say that I play shit like the record, because I don't. but Tim knows that. He encourages that.
Yeah, sure.
Like, he, you know, not every artist is like that. Like,
Yeah.
I've been on artist gigs before where, like, everything has to be exact to a T like the record, and that's how they want it. If you don't do that, you're going to get chewed out, you know? Luckily, I don't work for artists like now, because I don't particularly enjoy that. Like, I want to stretch out a little bit and throw some Kyle All isms into the music.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. Yeah.
That ism, baby.
You're
Not the tism. The
Touched by the ism.
Yeah, I might be touched by the tism too, but that's a conversation for later.
yeah, same here.
That artistic shit. You know what I'm saying?
Artism.
That artist, baby.
I definitely have a little bit of that. Well, some sort of artism spectrum over here.
Yeah, yes, it is.
Yeah.
You've heard of Drum Supply, but you gotta see their shop. It's a drum shop experience like no other. They're packed with all the gear a working drummer needs, and so many parts, noise toys, and accessories. It's a toy store. Curated cymbals, kits, and snares. The hands-on percussion room is nuts, and their custom shop work is fast and affordable. Andy and the guys know their stuff, and they're ready to help. And the big news? They've just moved to an awesome new location near the corner of East Trinity Lane and Dickerson Pike. Still in East Nashville, just a couple miles from their old spot, the all-new Drum Supply is twice as big, featuring a dedicated cymbal room, a lesson space, and even more drum gear than ever. Go see the new Drum Supply shop for yourself. Now open 11 to 5 at 2211 Dickerson Pike and online at drumsupply.com.
It's almost like you're two different drummers, two different people.
For sure.
And you have to sort of, for drummers here that are kind of do both, I feel like most of us kind of have to. You don't always have the luxury of just laying in one gig and that's it.
Sure.
You know, you have to be a chameleon with like doing Broadway, plus have a few artist gigs, and
Right.
takes a toll on you. As we were talking about mental health earlier and the fear, of maybe losing that gig. It's kind of that second part I was asking about is like the fear of the song kind of overtaking. I mean, probably not as much maybe for the artist stuff, but I mean for that too, because like there's no.
I've been with the change. The artist gig I have, the main artist gig I have not been there a long time, so I'm less worried about it. But if I was new, I'd probably have that same fear. You know, and yes, I have lost gigs because I subbed shit out and I just wasn't available, and the guy I was subbing to was more than competent. Like, that's all they're really looking for. You know, like, if you can do the job and you're available and you're cool, like, you don't need to be the sickest fucking cat ever. You just need to do the job. And that's what they're looking for most of the time. So, like, that doesn't make me irreplaceable. So if I'm out for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, and in this specific case, 3 months at how long I was gone, yeah, they're going to hire somebody else. It is what it is. You know? So now I just make sure all my subs are dog shit. And I'll always have a gig.
You heard your
You know what
turn.
I mean? Yeah, I'll never hire Nathan.
So we got a call for Kyle, and he thinks you're dog shit. I got hit up for you tomorrow. Hey, man, you want to sub 3X? It's,
Hey, man, you're the right man for the job.
I really trust you. You're the perfect guy for this thing. Yeah.
Cool.
You build me out. Just, yeah.
It is a thing though, man. If you want to keep a gig nowadays, like you have to make yourself indispensable. However you're gonna do that, like whether that means you show up every time and you're never not there, or if you wear tons of different hats, like, oh hey, I'm a singing drummer, also I'm an MD, also I can run playback, also I want to be a cool dude, you know. Also I give a really great hand job. Like whatever it is that you gotta do to make yourself indispensable takes. Whatever it takes, dude, you know. Fuck.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's like 80% of what this podcast is like discovering those tendencies.
Do you want to say one last thing about the Broadway versus the road thing?
Yeah.
Dude, like, you cannot get warmed. I, like, can't get warmed up on a road gig now. Because my brain is so fucked up from doing these 4-hour shifts where it's like, I'm not getting warm until, like, an hour and a half in the gig. Just because, like, that's how you learn how to pace yourself. Or, like,
Yeah.
suppose you got 30 minutes. It's like, and I'm still in, like, Broadway mode when I go out there. It takes me, like, a fucking, you know, almost a month to get, like, tuned into, like, okay, how do I prepare for this 30 minutes that I got to get play?
Totally different.
You know,
Stamina.
I mean, even down to like sweat, dude. I'm sweating like 3 times as much playing an artist set that's 30 minutes than I am in a 4-hour set on Broadway, just because of the way that I'm approaching the drums. Like it's just, and then yeah, I can't get warmed up properly. Like I don't know what the secret is because like I don't want to warm up longer than the fucking set. So it's like you warm up for 45 minutes and you go play at 30. It's like how does that work?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and you're like
Tricky.
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing.
You do keep the warm up on purpose. You're like, I feel like, because in my brain, I'm just like, if you give me, if I've got an hour and a half that's available, I'm like, oh, sick. I can just warm up the whole fucking time. Just like, and then come in and just like,
I don't think that's normal though.
no, probably not.
Yeah, a little weird. I get it though. I mean, I have a practice pad at all times throughout the day.
Yeah.
That's always in my brain. I'm like, all right, well, if I just stay at least all day. But I don't count that as an active warm up, you know? Active warm up, it's like I'm fucking almost to the point of sweating. Get it going. That's what I would count as a warm up, not like hitting, you know, some fucking double stroke rolls for hours on end or
Yeah.
If you're doing that, is
walking around some
I
rudiments.
mean, I think it's individual, but to me, that's warming up
Yeah.
from a physical muscle standpoint.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, everybody has different ways of warming up too. Like I, in my head, I would call that loosening up as opposed to warming up. But that's just from my own personal definition. That doesn't necessarily have to apply to everybody.
Yeah.
Interesting. So it's like rather than like this isn't me. I'm in gear 0. I'm going to get into first and then into second, and by the time I'm ready to play, hopefully I'm in third gear ready.
Right. But I don't want to hit 5th because that's too much.
Right.
Because if I'm in 5th before I go play, like my playing isn't like definitely going to suffer probably.
Yeah, but you keep keep yourself loose throughout the day.
Try to. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's honestly. I think that's probably. I don't know. If better is not the right. That's not the right term, but that is just as good. Like I'm staying capable of playing the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I don't know. Do you warm up before you go downtown?
No.
Interesting.
Never, dude.
Really?
Well, first,
I'm terrified not to because they're so long.
Nah, I mean, it's just a different gear. Like, I'm not pushing that hard when I'm downtown. And also, like, most of the gigs I'm doing downtown are not, like, super crazy involved, like, rock gigs. Like, I have a couple. A lot of it's just, like, 4-on-the-floor country shit. You know, like, I'm playing a 2-step for the first fucking hour. And
I'm sorry, dude. My gut is just being so loud. I don't know that. It's just making so many sounds. I just like, it's got to be distracting. It's distracting me.
I think those are the love flutters, dude. Not see love. I guess it's just because you're so...
Here we go again. Here.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry, baby. Don't you dare watch. Wow, so you warm up for Broadway gigs. Interesting.
I just like, well, and I know you play way more. Because you said 10 a week.
Yeah, usually. I mean, now I'm probably not gonna be. It's gonna be like more 8 or 9 now for a little bit. But during the I mean, if I'm around for a while, I've also done like 14, 15 a week before. But for me, financially, like to make what I want to make, got to do like 10. That's like the money spot for me. If I get 10, I'm not worried about taking more shifts and like unless I just want to. But I'm also not like feeling like I'm not working them.
Dang, brother. I'm at like 5 is that's it.
Yeah.
Like if I do more than that, I'm like, oh man, I gotta be really careful. Really careful.
I think this is a great way to segue into mental health.
Let's do it now.
It is real though, dude. I mean, it's mentally like very taxing to do that many visitors you have a week. But I mean, dude, there's some people that do like 16, 17. Yeah, I mean, dribbles. Shout out to Tyler Cannon, dude. That guy fucking would work like 20 shifts a week.
That dude was a machine.
It's fucked up.
It is.
But you know what, man? The thing is like, there are people doing a lot of shifts down there, like 16, 15 a week. But like after a certain point, you hit diminishing returns. And I know some of those people, first of all, they're like, some of them are just picking up dog shit shifts.
Yeah.
And they're fucking up all over the place. Like, I hate to say that, but it's true. Like, I've been on gigs with some of those people, and it's just like, okay, I see why you pick up some of these shifts because you just do the dog shit all the time. And that's the attitude that you're taking to this gig, which is like maybe a little bit higher caliber gig.
Yeah.
With, maybe better musicians, but it's just like, wow, like 60% of this song. That's cool.
Yeah.
Or like or I've been playing with you for 3 weeks and this song has been called I don't know how many times and you still haven't fucking learned it.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's what it is. It's because like when you play that much, the last thing you're going to go fucking do is go to learn a song.
Because you got to get to the next shift.
You got to get to the next shift, but also who cares? You're working.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Is like besides being, there's no reward.
No,
for having the most.
It's a weird system. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't fucking play on there if I didn't love money. But
yeah, I'm like for money's nice to have. For sure. I think when you first move to the city, like grind it out, like take a ton of shifts, get your name out there, play, figure out what songs you need to learn, then like taper that back.
Yeah, and
let
them learn the songs.
As Marcus Finney would say, like you start to say no to gigs.
Yeah.
Those yeses turn into healthy no's.
Sure, yeah.
Because yes is expensive.
I've been thinking about the hard thinking about you. I've been thinking about you. Yeah, I've been thinking about even stepping back more just because there's so much stuff on my plate that I just have to I just don't have time to get these things done. I need to show you some of this stuff I'm working on that's
even the juice
is an aneurysm inducing, but it's like I gotta finish. I've got these songs from my buddy Tabor I've been working on forever, and there are a few parts. The songs are just insane already, and then there are a few parts that have to be just right.
Yeah,
and getting them like that has required me. There one song in particular has like a bunch of crazy double bass stuff in it, and I have not historically been a crazy double bass guy. Like that has just not my thing.
I get it.
But I'm like, I'm going to get this fucking skill and I'm going to kill this thing and it's going to be great. But it's also like, okay, every time I have a moment to practice, I need to be practicing those things in particular.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, if you're saying it's hard, I imagine it's pretty hard.
It's pretty, and maybe you'll hear it and be like, man, actually, somebody who's really good at double bass would be like, that's not hard. You idiot.
I was in a Tool tribute band a couple of years ago, and that was the amount of fucking work I had to put into that. Just that, like, thank God I didn't have a busy schedule at that time because I wouldn't have been able to do it. It was just like, it was like for real averaging like 13, 15 hours a song, learning the fucking parts. Like,
yeah.
And it just got harder. That was the other thing, because it's just like we just went from old to new, and like the new shit with Tool just got progressively worse. Yeah, like, fuck, man, dude. It's so much work, like so much fucking work. And and it was one of those things where like after the end of it, you're thankful you did it, because like I did acquire some new shit. Like some new skills, you know, like I figured out how to do over the bar line stuff better than I ever have been able to.
Yeah.
Because that's what Danny Carey does, right? He's like a fucking odd time guru, you know? Like,
Yeah. I'm sure your process for learning things also evolved.
yeah,
Right.
in a way. Yeah, like the microscope version of learning, 100%.
Yeah.
Because that's what all that shit was. Like I had to learn it lick for lick. And like I remember I initially tried to like write out a couple of them. I was like, this is fucking, I can't do this. Like, this is too much to try to write out. I'm just gonna have to memorize it, you know? And that was a lot easier. Like Jambi, I learned Jambi. And then I had to learn all the fucking tabla parts too. Like, yeah, remember. It was a lot. But it was fun. I had a great time.
Yeah.
But I had no work at that time. So,
I mean, that's,
you know, that's the only way I could have done that.
That would have been like fresh after COVID.
Yes, correct. I believe that's right. Or during COVID.
And so how did that start? How did that come about?
My buddy Joe Schneider hit me up to do it. I was like, hey, we need a drummer. And they had like a light production that they had with it and shit. And he's like, I want to start a Tool tribute band. I was like, sick, I'm in. Because I grew up listening to Tool.
Yeah.
As most drummers have. And I was like, I can do it, no problem. In my head, you know, because like I remember listening when I was a kid and be like, oh, I could do that.
Yeah, you could do it. Yeah.
But I was like fucking 14, you know, you think you can do all this shit. And as an adult, I've been going back and listening to those songs during that process, like, what the fuck was I thinking?
Yeah, right.
This is so much more than like the first rehearsal we had, like we didn't play Vicarious. And I was just like, that's the first song off the 10,000 Days album.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, what did I get myself into? I was just eating shit all over the place. Yeah. But then, you know, like I got used to the process a little better and I knew that like, okay, if I'm going to have any chance of playing these songs at rehearsal, I have to spend fucking 20 hours in the next 2 days learning this shit. And like also before any show, like I can't go raw dog the show. I have to sit down behind the kit for hours on end, play these songs fucking 13 times over to make sure they're good to go. The other weird thing about that band was like you couldn't, you know, when you like are playing along to a track as a drummer and you nail it with the tracks, but then you go try to play it in the band and it's different
Yes.
because of like the auditory stimulation or whatever it is.
There are clues being given to you, context clues being given to you when you're playing along with the track that don't exist when you're playing with the band.
Yes. So that happened. So that was weird for me because I'd never had that happen before.
Yeah.
And I just like, I was like, why the fuck can't I hit this song? I just play it perfectly fucking, you know, 6 times in a row at the house. And then we bring it to the band rehearsal and I can't get through it, you know? It's just weird.
How did you get beyond that? Or is it just a matter of putting more time into it? What Nate said to get beyond those cues, like where you don't need them.
More time. It's like repetition until you literally cannot fuck it up. Which is the opposite of the Broadway process, you know, where it's just like, okay, can I learn the song? Cool. Like, and my instincts can get me through it, even if there's something that I kind of screw up. Yeah. But you can't do that when you're in a fucking Tool band, you know?
Yeah.
Because you're going to get lost in the form, because the form's chaotic. But that, plus we moved to a click, so that helped a lot. Because you would think that, like, the click would be another form of stimulation that would make things more difficult, but it actually wasn't. It made everything make sense.
Yeah.
You know, because they actually Tool tracked everything without a net.
Really?
Yeah. Which is wild to think about.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
But it's, yeah.
Well.
So they literally don't use a click. So when you brought the click in, it's like, oh, this, I see now Maynard is phrasing in 3 at this particular time, and then Danny's doing a different version of 3, and it's like, it all kind of made sense for him.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like another band member kind of helping you out.
Yes.
It's a click, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Level of comfort.
Yep. It's just like, audibly you have the one in your ears, you know, which in that sort of music, yeah, it's very important.
Hey drummers, do you need a place in Nashville to practice on actual drums? Drumbox is Nashville's newest drum practice studio. Book sessions online and get the space to yourself. It's fully equipped with 2 kits, cymbals, hardware, and even sticks are provided. 30-minute, 1-hour, and 2-hour sessions are available at www.drumbox.space and use the coupon code NDP25 for 25% off your first session. Again, that's www.drumbox.space.
Yeah, I relate to that a lot when I was learning the Concertman, the Tears of Joy piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had such an obsession with learning it, like note for note, to the point of like any free time I had, it was like I knew I had to be in some way putting myself towards it. Yeah, like if I'm driving home from the groceries, I'm gonna put the track on. Yeah, I go to sleep with the track on. It was just like, it was honestly like a level of obsession I've never really experienced, but it was so rewarding and fun and cool.
I mean, you nailed it. It's that
I'll show you the video afterwards. It was basically just like a one piece, kind of one thing I was doing for myself. And I did it, and it's going. I could check it off the list. But now I'm taking that process to everything else. All these other gigs, the process for charting and learning shit quickly. Super beneficial,
dude. That's super dope. First of all, that's really awesome. It really is a special kind of reward when you spend that amount of hours into something and then it works out.
Yeah.
What's funny is like it's been like a couple years now, and if most of those songs got called, I probably wouldn't be able to play them.
Yeah, right. I probably couldn't really play this work of the chart now. I did get through it, but it wouldn't be what it was.
Yeah, because like especially when you're learning licks that like are directly involved with the time signature.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you're not doing that exactly note for note, like it's probably gonna fall apart. There's shit that I can still probably play just fine, like Schism and fucking all the shit that I spent a ton of time with. Like sober's easy as hell anyways, but some of the more nuanced ones like Zombie and even Lateralis, like no fucking chance. Yeah, forget that. Yeah, 0 chance, dude. Over to you.
I like this guy. You're good. Like you're director of the pure. I like the MD in the five chat.
Dude, well that was the thing. I play with this group called Crusade, and it's progressive metal, and I kind of set a goal for myself to like I really want to get like we're rehearsing every week. I'm like I want to get so good at these songs that I'd like never have to rehearse them with you guys again. I really that was kind of like I really want to have them. I really want to commit them to memory and have because I just like that was the thing. I'm like that I want to be able to play a show with 0 rehearsal. That's the goal. Like I really want to get to that place. And I don't know if I'm still at the place with those songs. I don't think I am anymore because we have had like I don't know. We've had like 6 months off. I'm like, am I gonna go back and just have to relearn everything? Maybe I don't know. It might just click on. I don't know. Do you have the thing where you don't know? Like I know that song, but I'm not going to remember it. I'm not going to recall it until we start playing it. Have you ever experienced that?
Osmosis, dude.
Osmosis.
That's what I would call it. Yeah, for sure. Definitely had that. I always try to be able to sing the chorus in my head. That's like the whole thing that I always try to make sure I can do. Because if I can't do that, then it's like I clearly don't know this song well enough.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, there's got to be something about a song I remember in my head, unless you're using tools like a chart and, a Met.
Yeah.
Keys. Which that's my cheat code on Broadway. It's like, I don't really even fucking remember this until the first note's played. I'm just fucking push the click into 122 and play this type of groove for the first 4 bars. And then it's going to come to me after the 4th bar and I'll be good.
That's what it is for me. Is like, how does the song start? How are we ending this? Otherwise, I'm good.
Yeah.
But like, I need to know how we're ending it and how it started.
Yeah. Yeah, I always try to make sure the ending's there. If it's not, you have to communicate to everybody else. Like, how is this going to end? And I used to be okay with like giving that to somebody else, but as I've gotten older, just always be best to command the shit when it comes to all of the song.
Yeah.
It's just going to be better if the drummer's fucking doing it, man. It just is.
It's true. Sorry, all you guitar players out there, but
I know y'all want to be calling the shots and stuff, but
let the drummer end the song. Let us call you the song.
So how do you? I've never really even thought about this until just now, but like, I'm sure we all have somewhat different. The whole saying is like 10 drummers in a room play the same groove and it sounds different. I'm sure we all kind of end songs differently or communicate to band members differently and do trash cannings differently. What is your sort of style for commanding that shit?
Dude, I just try to make it as obvious as possible. Like, I straight up fucking yell. Like, seriously, I'm like, yo, 1, 2, 3. you know, like literally at the top of my fucking lungs if I have to. Okay. You know, because like, yeah, I realize like half the time, like you're fighting with fucking two people that aren't even looking at you at the end of the song. So you've got to get their attention somehow. If you got to fucking throw a drumstick at the back of their head, I don't always have a talk back. So you know, like whatever it is you got to do, or if you're just gonna make the retard like super obvious.
Plus, I don't have to power up the
like,
drums. You know,
I don't even try to be subtle. Dude, fuck all that subtle shit, dude. We're in the song, and I'm going to make sure you know we're in the song.
Yeah, make it exactly super obvious.
At which venues do you have a talkback mic consistently?
That's a good point. That's a good view. I have a talkback switch that I use for the for road stuff, and I've used it downtown a couple times. But yeah, not really many.
Yeah.
Because usually like they give the drummer a mic and it's a talkback. Their talkback is their mic.
Yeah.
But I sing, so that's why I have that switch. But so usually I'm not using it. That's a good point. Dude, it's funny. I've even, for a while, I was even texting the ending of songs with my left hand and playing.
Oh my god!
If the band is super
That's
glued to
like
their
different-
phone, if you've got a band that's very glued to their phones, on Broadway is normal.
Charts, yeah, exactly.
Text the ending. I've literally done that. That's incredible. I'm just like fucking okay. There's a down part here where it just requires me to use 4 on the floor kick, and maybe I'm keeping time with my right hand. I'm gonna text the end of the song really quick, so these guys know what's going on. I've done that.
Yeah, that seems stressful.
Yeah, it's all right. You get used to it, dude. I'm just the thing about Broadway is just figuring out how to cheat constantly.
How to get through it, yeah.
Yeah,
How to be
like
efficient.
use every tool available to you, whatever that is. Get creative if you have to, but
I find those spots where there's a lull in a song, or maybe it goes down to just kick, and maybe it won't even do that in the record version, like playing like Save a Horse or something. But a lot of people, like I do, I drop out for the like that first verse to just kick, and like in that. If I'm gonna like try to eat like my quesadilla or something, like that's the time. Or if I'm gonna text like something that's important to the band, like that's that moment, you know. If I start finding those little pockets. Do you have those like little pockets? Like, oh, cool, I know.
100%. Yeah, dude. Yeah, because you just got to eat sometimes when you're hungry down there. It's like, I don't have time. Even shifts.
Yeah, I do not have time to be running over to like Fifth and Broad and finding something. I forget that.
Oh, dude, and then you order shit specifically so you can eat it on your way to the next gig. That's a weird thing. It's like, oh, I'll do just the chicken tenders, and yeah, I'm gonna scarf them down while I'm fucking rolling my cart to the next gig.
I hate the eat and run thing. I hate that. But it is a necessity sometimes when you're doing it. Yeah, I hate having to do it though. It makes me feel like, I don't know. I feel like extra sweaty, or maybe I just like I feel so good, and I'm just like,
So many sexual innuendos going on right now. I can't contain myself.
is this sexual to you? Are you doing running, Dad? Let me show you something cool.
Wish your Nate at his cart have some chicken fingers.
Yeah. All I'll do
Sweaty hair.
is the hot chicken tacos at Nudies. They're pretty dang good. That's my advertisement for Nudies. Nudies. It's pretty dang good.
We need to start getting any Broadway bars to sponsor this for
We really should.
I've got enough damn money on bar sales. Anyway, so we spent a lot of time talking about live gigs. I want to hear more about what you're up to session-wise, studio-wise.
I enjoy doing it. It is my comfort zone, dude. I am like truly happy when I'm in the studio. I've done less of it this year than I would have liked to do. I do have my own home. You've seen the homes have it.
It's a cool setup, man.
So, I'm trying to work with Dim's producer more, especially for this upcoming album. In the past, I've just mainly cut demos for him.
You're going to be on the new album.
I'm going to fight for it really fucking hard.
I'm going to be praying for that.
Talking to you, Micah.
What's up?
Yeah, dude, it's my happy place. I love it. I love fine-tuning a part, to where it's... And then, like, you discover cool shit under... It's like... It's more of that microscope thing that I was telling you about.
Yep.
It's just you can go back and listen to it in real time. As opposed to when you play it on a show, it's done. That's it. It's 86. Yeah. It's like... And, for me in the studio, like, I like to play the games with myself. It's like, okay, like, how can I hit this perfectly by second take and then be done? That's the money shop that I'm doing. It's 2 takes or 3 takes, like, I don't know. I really enjoy it. Plus, like, Then you get into the nuances of the click, like you can really like play directly on it or just barely behind it, which like a lot of that gets lost sometimes in live playing because you're dealing with other instrumentation, which not to say that that's not also the case with studio sometimes if you're doing a live track, right? But like for most of the time when I'm flying stuff, it's like I know exactly where the other parts are and they're that way every single time. And so I can kind of play with the time however I choose to. When you go into a session and the band is recording it, or you're doing a live track, as opposed to like if you already have the tracks, right? If you already have like the guitar and the bass there, and then you're just putting the drums down. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I really enjoy it. I wish I was doing more of that stuff. I really do. It's a really hard industry to break into in Nashville, especially like the A tier, you know, like when you're cutting from major record labels, you know, like I haven't been able to get into that super deep. Most of the stuff that I've done is just like local artists and then like some, you know, maybe a little higher profile, but not breaking into like, oh, this song is going to be, you know, on Spotify's top, whatever.
Yeah, it's on TV or on the radio.
Yeah, exactly. Where you're actually getting, you know, maybe like a real union scale or something. But I want to get into it more, man. And I know that everybody does.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Unfortunately, having a space is like step one. That's like the hardest area, I'd say.
Right. Well, the thing is, even when you do have a space, you're still like you're not going to be able to compete with like people who are recording in multi-million-dollar studios. You know.
Sure. Yeah, if you're the kind of person who can walk in, I have a person in my brain who can walk in the middle of someone else's Blackbird session and interrupt because that's just who the fuck you are. Then that, you know, your inner circle.
Who do you have in mind, Nathan?
I'm actually thinking of Tom Bukovac because he came in the middle of a session and I was like, well, that's Tom Bukovac, okay. All right, he's just here hanging out. Like, yeah, they're like, oh, what's up, Tom? Right. That's his second home. And it's that inner circle. It's like, I don't mean this in any kind of negative way, but it is the cool kids club. Like they're in there now, and they're like, well, we're cemented in. We have tenure. We're all set, and that's the person that they think of first. So it's hard for any of us on the outside to do an insane amount of work.
Well, dude, the other thing is they've had results with these people for so long. It's like,
why would they join?
They are taking a chance by using you, literally. So it's like the only solution is to go with like guys who are breaking, who are like about to hit that circle. Yeah, get in with those producers, or just like I don't know, kind of eat shit. It's just like just keep trying until you get lucky and you find somebody who's willing to take a chance on you. I was just talking to Matt. You know Matthew Maxwell? He plays bass for Luke Compton. Yeah. Cool fucking dude. I was talking to him. He's dealing with very much the same kind of shit. Or it's just like you're competing with these guys who've been doing the shit for forever. They've been getting
on the Hustling Hut's their gig.
Yeah, that's their gig, dude. And they've been on more records than you can count. And like, of course, the producers are going to use them because they've been on X amount of number one records. How many number one records have you been on? Oh, none?
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. That sort of thing.
Financially, I think the cost difference of 10 takes versus one take.
Yes.
Right. Yes. Or having to fix shit afterwards.
Right. Or just getting a guy who you know is like going to get the take that is going to be perfect for the song as opposed to taking a chance on somebody who you don't know how they play.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, well, if I've done 10 number ones with this dude, obviously he's got the money beats. I'm going to hire him instead of some dickhead I've never met, you know, like, or some guy who's bugging me about getting on a record cut, you know?
So with your home setup currently, I know you said you're trying to do more of it next year, but are you acting as like producer? Like, do you fuck with the sounds afterwards, or like? 'Cause I know like as a topic that's come. Why are we all spinning right now? I guess I'll be at you.
Do it.
Here, let me ask this.
Do it. Ask boy, you spin.
Look, you're busy. What's the question? Just like
I don't know. What is the question?
A drummer. I feel like in today's world, you're expected to just be everything. You're the engineer, you're the producer, you're the mixer, you're the masterer, and you and that's kind of an edge as well for these young players to be able to hand deliver. Here's a finished session. you don't have to really mess with it too bad. Like it's it's all.
I ask.
Yeah.
Sorry, to answer your question, I ask. That's it. I mean, like whoever I'm cutting the track for is like, do you want raws? Cool. Do you want me to put like a light mix on this? Because I can do that too. Cool, I'll do that. For my own social media stuff, like I'm always kind of mixing that a little bit. The mastering stuff I haven't gotten too into, just because it's a whole other bag for me. And I'm sure eventually I'll probably step into that territory because I'll have to. But yeah, man, it's just a case by case basis. Like I know for example, the stuff that I've done with Tim's producer has always been like raws, because I know he's gonna put his juice on it. Yeah, exactly. And his juice is gonna be way sweeter than my juice. You know what I mean? It's real though. I mean, and also the other thing about that is, dudes, like I have been playing drums for a very long time. I don't even have a quarter of that experience as a producer.
Yeah.
Or somebody who puts like, leave it to the dudes that have been doing it their whole lives. That's always been my thing, is like, it's going to sound better if you give it to the guy who has dedicated his life to doing it. Like, put my ego aside of what I think sounds good. Like, let that dude work his magic.
Yeah.
Because I would want somebody to do the same thing for me if I was coming into a project and they're like, hey, I want you to put Kyle Law on this. I would love that so much more than being told exactly what I have to do and what I have to play.
Yeah.
Because they're going to trust me in that instance. I'm not just a machine,
Yeah.
But they're going to trust my instincts. Same thing with production. I'm going to trust the guy who's got the instincts built in from years and years and years and years of doing that.
Yeah. Specialist.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which brings me to a great question. Because you have been playing drums, like you said, for a very long time. How long is that exactly? When did you start playing drums?
Got my first drum kit when I was 11. So 20 years of drum kit experience. But when I was a kid, I was just like being everything that I could find,
What was that first kit?
I thought it was a GP.
GP?
Yeah. GP.
Wait a minute. Yeah, but it's that kind of like almost that like really flat lettering, right? Is that? Yeah. I know exactly.
Like $150, $200 drum kit.
Oh yeah, GP.
Yeah, we always ask people on the show that first kit was.
Yeah. I was always getting in trouble in school. Though my teachers used to make me sit on my hands.
Yeah.
Just because it was just like, couldn't stop, And that was like eventually what let my parents buy my first drum kit. They're like, okay, he's going to do this whether we want to or not. Yeah, so.
I'm tearing one of these up.
Yeah, bro.
I'll just tear one up right now.
I had like a cherry burst one.
That looks like my CB drum set.
I think, in fact, I did tear one of these up at like a little. There was like a pawn shop, and one was sitting in the middle of the room, and I sat down and just like, I'm gonna just shred mercilessly, and I did like on this little baby kit, and it was wonderful time, good time. Everybody appreciated it, especially all the people who worked there.
Oh, I'm sure. Dude, there is something special like playing on a just fucking dog shit drum set.
I agree.
It's really fun.
It is fun. I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
Well, it sort of like exposes, the whole thing of like a good drummer can make any.
Yeah, that's true.
It's really true.
It's true. Yeah, I feel like the touch, your touch behind your instrument really shines when you're playing a really bad instrument.
Exactly.
It's like shows like what kind of player you really are. It's like, oh wow, that's
Can you make it sound good? Like, oh, you can.
well. Also, just the tones that you get. Like when you have a really good drum set, it's gonna sound good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Less technique.
Like even like obviously a great drummer is gonna make it sound even better, but like it's still gonna sound good. When you get a crappy drum set, if you have an average or a crappy player, like it's probably gonna sound crappy.
Yeah, exactly.
You put a good drummer on there, it's like, damn, it sounds good.
Yeah.
Remember like one of the reading one of the Wolfpack albums, like maybe a second or third album, they did on like a toy drum set. They like put a blanket over the snare and recorded it, and that's where that sound is coming from. And it sounds really good.
Of course it does.
Yeah.
They got to figure it out.
Yeah.
So, you're playing a GP kit.
Yeah, dude.
And what are you listening to?
What are you listening to? Know that song?
No, I don't.
That's Sarah Stapleton. Dude, I was listening to a lot of hip hop back then. took drum lessons from this guy who lived across the street from me who was super into prog rock, and he put me on the Mars Volta, so I was really headed in that for a long time. But yeah, and that was like some of our first introduction to rock music too, which was really hip.
Yo, starting rock with like
Roulette Dares, like that was like one of the first songs I heard drum wise, and actually I learned it. And like within the first year of playing, I was like, "This is fucking awesome! I never want to stop drumming." Like it was sick.
bro. That song still makes me want to run through a wall.
Oh, it's so good.
Which song is this?
Haunt of Roulette Dares.
Yeah, John Theodore. Shout out.
Yo, yeah, you gotta listen to D Louse at the Comatorium by Mars Volta.
Okay.
That
I will.
Such a sick album, dude. So good. But that song in particular, like I remember my drum teacher made me a mix CD of songs to listen to drum wise, and it was like Good Times, Bad Times, Roulette Dare, No Excuses, Alice in Chains.
dude.
Oh, dude.
What, great. That is such an underrated
Great song.
song for drums specifically.
Yes.
He's
So-
doing some cool stuff.
really hip shit, dude. We were just actually out with Jerry Cantrell a couple months ago. So that was singing Ryan songs.
Wow. How was that? What was that like?
Yeah, it's fucking rad, dude. It's cool, really cool. He hired a bunch of like session cats to be in his band. Essentially, his drummer was Roy Mayorgan. He's like he played with Ministry and Stone Sour. He's played a lot of people, but super cool, dude. Rad drummer. Got like one of the wildest drum setups I've ever seen. Yeah. It was surreal, dude. I mean, literally, he was like singing fucking like Man in the Box at like towards the back half of the tour. He was like closing the set with Man in the Box and shit. It was just like half of his set was Alice in Chains songs, which was so cool to see. You know, not that I like don't dig his solo shit because his solo shit's cool too. But yeah, it was wild, dude. It was one of those weird like pinch yourself moments. Like,
Whoa.
that's Jerry Cantrell, you know.
That's a serious legend. Yeah,
Serious
that's up on a level that it's hard for me to like understand.
That is weird. Yeah, like certain times he was this far from me, you know? It's just like your brain's trying to process it. Yeah.
So did you ever say,
Hello?
"Hey, did you know that you're Jerry Cantrell?" Because sometimes I like to tell people who they are.
Yeah.
If I'm like hanging with somebody that's like kind of like, you know, a celebrity or something, like after like a good amount of time and we're like, cool, like, did you know that you're this guy?
That's that guy. Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right.
That's weird that I'm hanging out with you. I don't know if you noticed, but I noticed that it was weird. And now you're noticing that it's weird hanging out with me, but for different reasons.
And they just stopped right.
Yeah. And then they asked me to leave the premises.
They call security.
Yeah, it was cool, man. Tim, towards the last half of the tour, Tim like started getting up with them on stage, sing Rooster together, which is fucking crazy. I watched the guy that I worked for singing Rooster with literally fucking Alice in Chains. I mean, you know, but
Who were some of your childhood drum heroes?
John Theodore,
Yeah.
from the Volta.
Did you ever get into Wild International? What was it? One Day as a Lion? That was the band. That was
It's just him and
Yeah.
yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still got to go. I remember listening to them and being like, "This isn't the Volta," and then like having a weird moment of like, "I don't like this." But then I went back and listened to them later as an adult, and I was like, "Okay, they're cool."
Yeah.
You know, it's when you're a kid you get really attached to shit. Like
Totally.
I was especially that way with metal. Like it wasn't like when I was in high school and like kind of like coming up and drumming, and all I'd listen to was like metal and prog rock.
Yeah.
And I remember like the post-hardcore era, like I almost didn't even want to listen to those bands because I was like, it's not fucking metal, dude. This shit is not hard.
Yeah.
You know? But Chris Adler was big for that matter, from Lamb of God. I remember I went to a clinic when I did like the Berkeley summer camp thing when I was in high school.
Oh, cool.
And I went across the street to see the Shadows Fall drummer do a clinic. Tony Royster Jr., obviously. It was like, you know, Thomas Pridgeon also.
Yeah.
All the, like, the first gospel chop guys.
Yeah. What's that? I've never heard of that term.
Yeah, right. Thank you, gospel chops. Remember that shit, dude? The OG gospel chop. Yeah, just like that. So I was super into shit like that, and then obviously Bonham.
Yeah. Bonham, like to me, John Theodore is almost like an extension of Bonham in a way.
In a way, yeah.
His approach is so similar. It's like it's the same kind of like powerfulness, energy forward, and then just the parts are just sick.
Yeah. He is a little bit, I feel like he's a little bit more meat and potatoes than Bonham.
Yes.
I literally got to watch him like a couple feet away. We saw Queens of the Stone Age at Welcome to Rockville in Florida. So we played that festival, but Tim ended up getting us like, there's a couple bands that you had to have like literal backstage passes to go watch them backstage, and Queens was one of them, but he ended up hooking us up. So we got to watch them backstage, and they had like a wedge and everything for the people watching.
That's sick.
And John Theodore was playing, and it was just like seeing him he sounds so good. So good. And his kid is super simple, and he just he's thunderous. Like,
He just smacks,
he
man.
smashes, bro, and he never fucks up, ever. Like, I have a really deep admiration for drummers who, like, are just perfection all the way through, where they, like, you never hear a mistake in their playing. I like the guys, like, the Thomas Bridgens who, like, can just absolutely shed over anything.
Yeah.
It sounds fucking insane. But I also, like, really like to watch a guy who's, like, never gonna make a mistake. Every note is a rim shot or whatever it is. Like,
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
There's something great from both of those things. I get out. They are separate experiences.
Nice.
Yeah.
They definitely are. It's kind of like the, I don't really know a good guitar version, but like, a lot of people say that Hendrix is very sloppy.
Yeah.
But he would take chances. So like one night you might see the craziest shit you've ever seen done on guitar, but then like, 30 minutes later he might do something that's utter dog shit.
Yeah.
It's kind of that way with drums too, I feel like.
Yeah, you're gonna take that risk for that person.
Yeah, that's
Which is great.
And there's something really cool about that, watching somebody take a risk on stage live.
Yeah.
But like, it's also cool to watch perfection. I was also told that they're like the most rehearsed fucking rock band ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Queens.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that,
Yeah.
but it makes sense. It's weird
They were
because
so tight, bro.
they have that rawness, but it's rehearsed rawness.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's unexpected,
Yeah.
but it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn, I've never seen them live.
You must call it a breakthrough.
This episode of the Nashville Drummers Podcast was recorded at Garden Groove Studios.
Tucked away in a private and soundproof studio in East Nashville, Garden Groove was born out of a desire to create a space where musicians, entertainers, teachers, and learners could come together. Garden Groove offers a quiet and relaxed environment for creativity to thrive and grow.
Their mission is seeded to fostering creativity and collaboration among musicians of all levels. In addition to a state-of-the-art recording space, they also offer a range of events and workshops to inspire and connect the community.
Recording, mixing, and mastering services start at just $45 an hour, and professional audio engineering services available for an additional $25 an hour. And exclusive discounts for newsletter subscribers, 25% off your first session when you subscribe.
Visit garden-groove.com to learn more and book a session. That's garden-groove.com.
So,
God, great.
what are some of your favorite things about living and working in Nashville, especially as a transplant from Georgia?
I like that there's always something to do. Yeah. That's number one for me, is like at any hour of the day, if I want to make myself busy, I can. Obviously, the big thing is there's work all the time if you want it. Like, you work as much as you want to if you're good, That doesn't exist in Georgia. I mean, that doesn't exist in most places.
Right.
I love you just staring at my nipple deeply.
Oh, I was actually examining the masha on the inside of here just first. I was realizing, see that?
I thought you wanted me to look to you from daddy, dude.
Go ahead.
Want to try that or just finger? Shut everything. Yeah. Well, daddy likes.
Are you guys gonna put your shirts back on or what? Oh, I mean, you don't have to.
I wasn't thinking of it.
I've had it on the whole time, dude. What are you talking about? Yeah, okay. He's in the aisle. I'm listening. I'm wearing a fur coat right now because you are.
Stan, I'm free for the first time in my life, and I'm runner free. This is just how it's going.
Young.
Do you need me to put my shirt back on?
I don't know. What do you think? Would you like me to put my shirt back on? It's okay.
I think it's okay.
Fuck these shirts, dude. This is shirts versus skins right now, bro. That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Take it off, football.
No, you don't take it off.
No pressure. No pressure.
No pressure.
Stay warm.
Stay warm, dude.
Yeah.
Anyways, what were you asking me?
Just what you like about Nashville.
I like that I can show up to a podcast at 8 p.m. at night and eventually an hour later start taking my clothes off and nobody's going to bat an eye, dude. I love that about Nashville.
Yep.
That might be my favorite thing.
Special thing about this city.
It is very special. No, I do like that there's always something to do, though. I love that you can work as much. Like, you can't make a living like you can in Nashville pretty much anywhere else.
No, you can't.
Being a musician. That's, like, huge for me, you know? Because even in Vegas, where, like, would be, like, the closest thing, I feel like, they're not... The cost of living is too high, first of all. Second of all, like, it's not the same way it is in Nashville. Where it's like, you know, literally you walk downtown and there's, like, 4 shifts with 4 floors. And 16 hours a day, there's music happening.
Yeah, and then even
10 a.m.
in Broadway, like I live in East Nashville, any neighborhood, it's like there's legit good shows happening every night of the week.
There is, yeah. I mean, honestly, I'd love to like hear more about that side of Nashville because that's something that I did a lot more when I first moved here. Is like going and seeing like indie artist shows, but like I want to get back into it more because I feel like there's so much good like original music going out.
Yeah.
Do you ever think about just switching it up and being like, maybe not like throwing, like getting rid of artist gigs, but sometimes I think about like, well, what if I just walked away from Broadway and just went like full into like just trying to play like Rudy's all the time, you know, like just go jazz scene. Like what would that look like? Yeah, like I know I've got friends that are doing that and they're making a living. So
Yeah.
I guess I could do that.
Yeah, dude. When I first moved here, I was actually told not to work on Broadway. And so I didn't. And that's all I did was like blues gigs and like pick up jazz gigs.
Yeah.
I made a living, I think, albeit very poor and I barely made my rent, but like I did it.
Yeah.
You know? And I was surviving on like, you know, maybe 10 gigs a month, maybe. So you can do it, but it just sucks. It's really hard. I mean, unless you're world class and you have those gigs at your disposal at all times, you know? Like the house gig at Rudy's or whatever the fuck, but
Who, not necessarily who told you that, but why did whoever told you tell you not to work on Broadway?
because there's a stigma, and I feel like it used to be probably even worse than it is now, but like there's a stigma about like, oh, well, Broadway is where musicians go to die. You know, like you go work down there, you're going to get comfortable, and then you're going to get a livable paycheck. And you're not gonna have as much interest in the grind that it requires to do other shit like getting a A-list road gig, you know? Yeah, like where you can actually make a real living. You know, it's just a lot quicker route when you go on the Broadway, and I feel like because of that, people get comfortable, and then they end up not doing anything else. I mean, it's just also you just can't argue with the money, like.
Well, kind of like what we were talking about before is like the uncertainty and like the immediate gratification of things that we deal with, right? So it's like the shifts that we played on air. You play it, you do well, you get paid that night. It's good, that's it. Versus like the time it takes to invest in network and find like a level road gig. It's not like an immediate gratification thing.
Yes,
It just takes time.
yes. I think that's what it is immediate gratification. I think that's why people say about it. And then also just general happiness, you know? Music is not meant to be played, you know, in 4-hour increments. 40 hours a week. That's not normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I fully.
I gotta put the shirt on, dude. It's a little cold in here.
Wait a minute, sorry.
Maybe I'll just.
Just kidding, dude. I'm taking my pants off.
I fully understand the concept that like it's too much. You know, like there's an element of it that's like inherently like, oh, this is too much.
Yeah.
There's like just kind of that's what it is.
For sure.
And there's part of me that loves that, and there's part of me that is just like, yeah, but dude, you are a human being, and
You're allowed to be a human.
Yeah, and that's it's like you must contend with the fact that you are a human being. And like you said, everyone's reaction, every player that doesn't know what Broadway is, when I tell them what I do, they're always like, wait, what? You guys play 4 hours with no break? That's insane. How many of those do you do a week? Well, I do 5. So what? I'm like, that's like baby numbers. I'm a child compared to some of these people down here. They're like yourself who are doing 10. People, like you said, who are doing like 15, 16 gigs a week. I'm like, good Lord. It's just so much.
It really is, man. It's not normal. To answer your question, though, yes, I have thought about like just exiting all of that.
Yeah.
And just doing the other shit and going kind of back to that. And I could do it. I would have to kind of take away a lot of the luxuries that I have now financially. You know, I'd have to like really strip down to just the essentials. I'd probably have to get a place with cheaper rent. Remember when I first moved to town, I was paying like $400 a month in rent or something crazy. Yeah, that's unheard of now, you know.
Right.
I was also living in a duplex, but that's what it required of me to live like that, where I was just doing 10, 11 gigs a month, and they were all like road gigs or like cool like jazz gigs, you know. We did like an hour and a half or an hour, whatever it was.
That's cool.
Yeah, you just have to take away luxuries, dude, and you can forget about putting money in savings, you know? Like, unless you have the A-list artist gig, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if you want to go on a cruise ship, but like, then the cruise ship thing is not all that different from the Broadway thing. It's a little bit, but
I feel like that's
family.
I feel like that might even be more of, in some ways, more of a grind. The way that they're structured. Have you done cruise ships?
No, but I got several buddies who have.
Same. And Mark French has done it, but then I've got friends that have been doing it full time for years. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's not the lifestyle for me, man. I like having a home. It's cool. It really is cool. And I want to be able to be away.
Yeah.
Like away from other people.
Right. Yeah, not stuck on this.
Not stuck in a little, like sharing a little freaking with another, like one of my homies. As much as I love any of them, I'm like, I'm going to need some alone time. I'm going to need everyone or just me to fuck off.
Yeah.
For a minute so my introvert can come out and I can just become an ooze that seeps through the floor and forgets that it exists. And then that could be a person awake and beautiful. Yeah. Thank you.
I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a weird existence, man, the cruise ship thing. But I mean, they're tax-free most of the time, which is, you talk about the cons. Like pros they're tax-free when they're out there. I think most of them are.
Yeah.
And you do get to go see the world, which is pretty dope, and you get paid to do it.
Yeah.
And you get to play music for a
It's a
living.
young person's gig, I'd say. Yeah, you don't have those commitments of a family.
Or just a lonely old person, you know?
I didn't want to be one of those either.
You know, I don't most of the time, but there are moments that I have and like, I can hip, dude.
I mean, I think to sort of summarize the past like 20 minutes, what we could say is like, I mean, it's the beautiful thing about the career that we're in is like there's so many different opportunities, and it's not for everybody, but there's enough out there for everyone to kind of pick and choose, and you can still do many things within one career. You know, you could sort of do a road gig for a while, pivot, come off the road, do sessions. You know, what's next for you, do you think, down the road here?
Well, I want to add to what you were saying first. Yeah. That's why it's important to be here in Nashville, because if you're not in Nashville, those possibilities don't exist to the level that they do here. The options, you know, like we just rattled off like 5 or 6 different gigs, and they're right here in Nashville
because we're here.
Right, yes, because we're here. There's also the other side of it of like not doing music full time, you know, and choosing to do only the gigs that you want. You can also do that in Nashville, where it's like there's plenty of service industry work here. If you want to go be a barista and then play drums, you know, whenever you want to play drums, basically, you can totally do that and make a living.
Yeah.
And there's several artists who do that, who just do the artist thing, and then like they do a bartender on the weekends or whatever, and that's how they make their bread. Which, by the way, is the norm for most people breaking Like, people forget that that's normal when we get to Nashville, but it is. It's normal to have a day job. Like,
Yeah.
us not having a day job and not playing with an A-list artist is not normal.
Yeah.
That's not normal.
Yeah.
Like, everyone, the Beatles had a day job before they were the Beatles.
Yeah.
And while they were the Beatles. The early years, yeah, they all had day jobs, bro. Like, people seem to forget that. Like, and that's what I remind myself whenever I'm, like, having some mental health problems or like I'm dealing with some depression because I, played to drunk cattle for however many fucking hours in a week, for lack of a better phrase. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
It's to that point where it's like, okay,
I know with 5 gigs a week, I know exactly what you're saying.
yeah. You have to remind yourself that you could be not doing this, and you could be out there fucking working at Kroger, stocking overnight, hitting your boss there, and then you're not playing your instrument. You're not getting better, or you don't even have the opportunity.
Those guys ever kill to be in your shoes. Absolutely, so don't hate it. I mean, it's a mental health balance because you have every right to be upset and go through those lows. Yes, but then to be able to kind of have that humility and say, "Wow, I'm actually in a very lucky position in Nashville, doing this full time that I love."
Yes.
Should we do some wrap-up questions?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it. What are you playing? What kind of sticks you playing?
I play Vic First Freestyle 5 bass.
All right. Okay.
I like the 1/4-inch edition and length.
Of course, freestyle.
Freestyle movie.
Endorsements. Let's talk that real quick. Recent endorsement this year?
Yes, very recently, like as in like less than a month ago. Let's go. Just got sponsored by WFLIII. That is William Ludwig's company.
Yeah, man.
So they started a company back in the 1930s under the William Ludwig moniker, and then they bought Ludwig back in the 50s through the 80s, and then they left again. And then he, in 2016, decided to come back with the old name. This is the third, right? And yeah, I met him a couple weeks ago through John Humphreys, who's Seether's drummer.
Okay.
This really cool dude. He was at a Kansas City show. He introduced me. I went to their factory, played a bunch of their shit. It sounds incredible. They make all the shit like the old school style.
Wow.
The snare drums are all amazing in my opinion. He's building a kit for me right now. I should have it in about a month. I'm really excited about it.
Sick, dude. Awesome.
Yeah.
Very excited.
That's no small endorsement.
Man, I've been asked about this over the years about the whole endorsement thing. Like, oh, why don't you have an endorsement? Why aren't you playing to this shit? It's like, I was told by one of my mentors a long time ago, wait for the people who are going to make it right for you and who are going to be personal and who you can form a real connection with. And that's what happened with this. It was organic in every way. Like, I met the dude himself. Literally, I shook hands with a Ludwig. Like,
That's insane.
there's nothing more personal than that.
Yeah, right.
And like, he is,
Shook hands with the Ludwig.
he's the dude.
What a statement.
He is the dude. Like, you call him when you need something. Like, that's the whole process behind this company. Like, that's the thing that they stamp themselves on, is that you can literally call Bill. Like, and so when that happened organically, like, I just had like a light bulb in my head. It's like, I need to pursue this because like, I don't think I'm going to get this with any other company. And like, he's been super cool. I think we're going to have some clinics scheduled by the beginning of next year. I don't think that would be possible with any other like larger name drum company. I played Gretsch my whole life. I reached out to them during COVID and they weren't super cool to me. I don't want to not drop names or nothing, but like, didn't have the most pleasant conversation, or at least I didn't get the feeling that the vibe was right.
Yeah.
To say the least.
I mean, it truly is like I bet it was equated back to a human relationship, dating, right?
Yeah.
Like you want it to be not forced and
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, it's gonna be a good vibe.
What's your favorite kind of noodle?
Oh man, the kind that you do during sound check.
Nice. Okay. Good answer.
Yeah.
That just sounds. Listen.
You defeated
There
the
was-
question,
yeah.
dude.
Defeated it, right?
Defeated it. That's great.
I was thinking about retiring that question.
Dude,
It may retire for a time.
Yeah, but it does bring out the creativity of our guests.
I like it.
Good job.
I will say one more. Well, I was thinking about this. Dude, they invented the first kit pedal. Did you know that? Ludwig. Yes, Ludwig. 1909, I think was the year, actually. I was reading up on the history of the company and shit, and he's like, yeah, 1909, Ludwig invented the first fucking bass pedal. I was like, what?
Yes,
So, pretty wild shit, dude. Anyways, WFLIII. Check them out.
Sick. I can't wait to see the kit.
Damn.
Yeah, it's going to be black.
Could do
Black Galaxy finish.
kit rig rundown.
Yeah, I can't wait to play for 8 hours straight on that kit.
Dude.
Just
Please destroy my brand new kit. I would love that. I would anything, dude.
You can destroy the GP kit.
I want you to destroy my brand new.
He's gonna just destroy it.
Sorry, Bill.
They also don't do raps, which is kind of cool. Like everything is just like,
I love that.
yeah.
They don't need to do raps.
No, dude, and it's everything is made in the USA. It's all like they hold tradition close to their hearts, which I like that. When I'm like cool because this vintage shit usually sounds pretty fucking good. Yeah, let's be honest. Like,
Yes. There's a reason why people still want those kits.
yeah,
Like, hey, can we have that? We have those again? Like, I love a company that goes, yeah, but we just do that, though. Hello?
All right, I've been staring at your tattoos all night, I should say. The one on your left upper bicep, the music notes. Tell us about that.
this here, dude. This is a multi-wall.
I was always a good sight reader.
That's pretty good. This is like a multiple part thing, but also I guess I should say I graduated with an English degree. I was super into like poetry and shit. And creative writing.
We'll get there next.
Super into creative writing. And I was really into this poem by Emily Dickinson. It's just titled 413, I believe that's what it is, but involves like a gale and shit, and basically it's about music, you know. And I had that plus a couple other concepts that I had in mind, and I found this dude, Elijah Forster, shout out. He's the best. He's a 1013 tattoo just right down the street. Came to him with the idea. It was multi-layered. I wanted to include music, and then he came up with the design. It has the feather in it, which is in the poem, and then this gigantic tree with the music around.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah. That's really lighting you on the two worlds.
Yes, that's essentially what it was kind of about, you know. More or less.
It's the tree of life. Music is life.
And that's what I'm always kind of like trying to do, man. It's like it's still like the creative side of things. Finding interest in poetry and stuff like that is kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. I still like
guilty.
Because I just don't have time for it, I guess. You know? And like it's not something that I really advertise until right now, basically. Like I just don't. It's not something I really talk about, and most people don't know that like about me, you know. But I do enjoy reading poetry still, and like, when I have time, I like to think about things creatively from a literary standpoint. So when I came, and honestly, like this tattoo thing, I got like 4 or 5 new tattoos this year. It's kind of been a part of that, of just like coming up with these ideas and concepts and kind of pushing like my creative gene, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Kind of pushing that creative gene a little bit, pushing that button, and kind of having somebody who knows what they're doing bring it to life, you know? Because I could never draw that or come up with that visually, but I can come up with the concept, and then I give him the concept, and then he's like, check this out. And I fucking think that's really cool, because it's like combining 2 pieces of creativity together to form a bigger piece of art.
Dude,
So, you know what I mean?
I love that. So tell us quick about the verse there, the word.
This is Wall Whipping. It's from Leave Your Ass. Yeah. It's just something I was super into when I was in college.
It's from me, your life.
Yeah, it's about the powerful play, like, you know, being an individual, how you're going to make your stamp on life, you know, through your individuality. That's at least what I took from it.
Cool.
And I am a big proprietor of that. I think that you're always going to sound your truest and your best when you sound like yourself and not somebody else. People are going to gravitate towards you, not you pretending to be something else. So that's it, man.
Damn. Thank you.
That was a great way to end the thing.
Thank you for. That's going to be the teaser. I normally takes a while for me to find. Like,
That's going to be the teaser.
I didn't say visually. Audibly, that'll be the line. So thank you. Jesus. Yeah, I'm going to have fun with this. There's so many clips of us spinning around, that's going to be like,
I can't. I want a freaking edit that's just such chaos. It's gonna.
I'll have to
this
make
is-
2 different versions. One just for the 3 of us.
The last thing is, where would you like these kind of people listening to follow you if they're going to do that?
At law.kyle is my Instagram. I don't remember what my TikTok is, but I have one. Yeah, dude. Yes. And just say hey if you see me out and about.
That luscious hair.
Yeah.
It's hard to miss.
Thanks, baby. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Follow Tim Montana. This guy I'm on tour with. He rocks. Going out with Miles Kennedy. Beginning of next year. So it's
Sick.
gonna be
I
fun.
love Miles Kennedy. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun tour. Very excited.
Wow.
The new winter tours is gonna be tough, but we like it, dude.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nashville Drummers Podcast. If you liked it, please consider leaving us a review on the Apple Podcast app. Please consider supporting us on Patreon. For $5 a month, you can help support this dream and keep the ball rolling for us. Believe it or not, it's not free or even necessarily cheap for us to make this thing go. To sign up, go to patreon.com/Nashville Drummers Podcast or click the link in our Instagram bio. All of your help is greatly appreciated.
Visit our website, NashvilleDrummersPodcast.com, where you can listen to all past episodes, learn more about myself and Nate, and buy all your favorite Nashville Drummers Podcast merch, including t-shirts, tank tops, sweatshirts, hats, and drum heads. Connect with us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube at Nashville Drummers Podcast. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.